USC football just flipped the script. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul, together with my buddy Aaron. We are the Big Ten guys. Tune in every day for the latest news, insights, analysis. If you're a fan of USC or any Big Ten football team, this is the channel for you, so don't miss out. Take just a quick second, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get those alerts on, because we got a lot more Big Ten and USC content coming. And I think this is going to be a super, super fun year for all you Trojan fans. So let's talk real quick about how USC has flipped the script on this entire season. But you know what? First, I just want to take a quick second. I know Aaron and I both were super impressed with what we saw from both USC Trojan fans and players. There was that super scary incident with the Michigan State player. I think his name was Wayne Matthews. I thought it was so cool that USC and Michigan State gathered together after the game and prayed for him together. Just super classy of USC, and I'm a big believer in the power of prayer, and I think you saw it in action last night. It sounds like he's already left the hospital and avoided any sort of catastrophic injury, so I think that's awesome. But I thought it was super classy of the USC football team, and I know Aaron and I both had nothing but nice things to say about the USC fan base and their team. And then just a reminder, Aaron's a big Michigan State fan. I'm a big Michigan fan, so all these opinions from us are not biased in any way towards USC. So I think, you can take it as like this is an unbiased perspective of what we think of your team and take that for what you will. But kind of going into this season, I know in our first USC video we broke down this schedule and looking at, I think both of us said this is a 4-0 start. USC's good enough to run through that, no problem. But at Illinois, home versus Michigan, at Notre Dame, at Nebraska, we both looked at that and were like, gauntlet. They will be lucky to go 1-3 there. And 0-4 is definitely a possibility. And then Iowa and at Oregon, probably 1-1 there. And this is, 8-4 team at best. That was our preseason opinion of USC. But they have completely flipped, as well as some of these other teams have kind of flipped our expectations for them. And let me just kind of break down what this stretch looks like now that we know a little bit more about all these teams. First off, Illinois. I don't want to take away from Indiana because I truly think they have shown they're not in this second tier of Big Ten contenders. I really think they are there with Ohio State and Oregon and Penn State. And it's possible USC is there too as true Big Ten playoff contenders, and not taking away from them. But I also think Illinois showed us no matter how good Indiana is, a good team's not losing 63-10. That was just an abomination. They got just demolished on the ground. And, if you've caught any USC football games, obviously Waymon Jordan has just broken out and is a certified star. I expect him to torch Illinois next week. And then Illinois, they did have some injuries. They had a player get ejected for targeting. Their secondary was beat up, so they'll have some of that back. But their top dog, Xavier Scott, I think he's going to be up in the air this week. Beginning of last week, they were saying he's going to play, and then all of a sudden it's he's probably not going to play. He's getting a second opinion, and it sounds like it's nothing definitive has been said yet. He hasn't been ruled out for anything, but just it doesn't sound promising for Illinois. Whenever you're getting a second opinion, if a doctor tells you, oh yeah, you'll be fine next week, you're not going to be you know what, I'm going to get a second opinion. I think you're wrong. Generally, you get a second opinion because you don't like the news you were given. So we'll see what happens with him. But regardless, Indiana has great receivers, but I don't know that they're as good as USC's. USC's are at least on par, maybe even better, and I expect them to absolutely torch Illinois through the air too. I also was not super impressed with Illinois' pass protection, and they've struggled to run the ball. They struggled to give Altmaier time. I think that Illinois game is going to be similar to Michigan State, where there's points, it's close. Illinois is going to score a few touchdowns, but at the end of the day, I don't think the result is ever really going to be up for debate. And then I'll talk about Michigan and Nebraska together, just because they played each other yesterday. I think that's easier. Like I said, I'm a Michigan fan. I was pretty hyped with the win. Good road win. I think Bryce Underwood someday, maybe even by next year, is going to be a Heisman caliber player. He's that talented. But he's still a freshman. And like while he's making some good plays, and he's, for a freshman, I think he's pretty poised. Like this road game and the road game against Oklahoma, like you could tell he's still developing. He's still got things to learn. And I think going up against like a more experienced Maava and USC team, I think once again on the road he's going to struggle. And like I think Michigan has a chance in that game, but USC is going to be the favorite. And then as for Nebraska, like Aaron and I have been high on them. I still think they're a good team, but man, they just got gashed on the ground by Michigan. I mean, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, almost 10 yards a carry. And then, like I said, Waymon Jordan is probably going to do the same exact thing. USC might, like, Michigan's offensive line is kind of banged up a little bit even, so it's possible USC can run even more than that. And then looking at Notre Dame, I think that's a similar one to Michigan where, yes, Notre Dame's talented. Yes, C.J. Carr is a really impressive freshman. He's very poised for his age, but he still is a freshman. And in that big-time game, I just trust Jaden Maava a lot more than I trust C.J. Carr. And then, looking at these games, I'll try to pull up real quick. The Illinois game, USC only opened as a 1.5-point favorite, and bettors just flooded the USC market. It's already up to 6.5. I wouldn't be surprised if it closes closer to 10. And then Football Power Index from ESPN has USC as a big-time favorite. Similarly, against Michigan, I don't think they've released like an opening line for the game yet, but once again, ESPN's Power Index, USC is a big favorite. The one game that I think ESPN's Power Index says is close is this Notre Dame game, especially being on the road. But like I said, C.J. Carr, he's got a very low completion percentage. They've already lost their first 2 big games. I'm not a huge believer in Texas A&M or Miami. I think Miami's solid, but I think with freshman QB against an experienced Maava, I like USC in that one as well. And then Nebraska is more like the other two where they got USC as a big-time favorite in that one. So before the season, I thought 1-3 was best case scenario for USC. All of a sudden, they have flipped the script on the 2025 season, and I think 7-1 is a very, very realistic possibility. And I think 8-0 is completely doable too. And in either scenario, USC is marching right towards a playoff berth because Northwestern and UCLA, USC could probably beat with their backups. Both of those teams are jokes. Iowa is not a cakewalk. If that was at Iowa, I would tell you, trap game, be worried about that one. But in the Coliseum, I think USC will handle them no problem. And then at Oregon, obviously, you all know that's a tough matchup. But I think a 10-2 or 11-1 finish this year is completely realistic for USC, and that would mean a playoff berth. So, USC fans, give me your takes. What'd you think of the game last night? Who have you been super impressed with this season? How do you think they're going to do in this 4-game stretch? You think they're a playoff team? Aaron and I always love to hear from all of you, and I'll do my best to respond to you. And then just don't forget, on your way out, take just a quick second, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I have a feeling we are going to be talking a lot more USC football. We always try to spend a little more time talking about the teams that are competing to win the Big Ten, and USC is definitely going to be right there. So don't miss out, like and subscribe. We'll catch you with some more content soon.